Yes, people, big up to all of you. I do hope you're all doing well. Some interesting topics we have lined up today. Lewis Hall, more importantly, than Romeo Lavia, Michael Olise, Hakim Ziyech, and any other topic that emerges as the show progresses. But more importantly, I do hope you're all doing well. I hope you're eating blue, sleeping blue, waking up blue, and overall living the blue life. As for me, that's what I do. Other than that, sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yeah, big up to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I do hope you're all doing well. I sincerely do mean that. Welcome to another Blue Morning Show. Specifically, welcome to another Chelsea transfer watch show. Quite a lot, not too much, about three players, more again to be specific to talk about. But we'll talk quite a lot about those three players. Let's see what we have here. City just won 4 titles in 4 years. This one base makes noise. We're selling Hall. For what reason? Why are we selling Hall? Some people want us to pay 120 million for Caicedo. Okay. Did they ask? Did you? Here's the thing. One thing I will advise us to do is this: once you hear something is happening, don't take the first information you see as final. Wait. See it as if you're settling a fight. Hear from, you can say participant A, if you want to call it, you can say whatever you want to call it. Then hear from the other party. Hear from both sides before deciding, okay, to blame somebody or to feel bad for it. I don't feel bad for it. I know he's a good player. If he goes on and does well, I'll be happy for him. I'm one of his biggest fans, actually, if I have to be honest. Rain, but more importantly, Rain, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Jerry Z, I appreciate you joining. But Jerry, more importantly, we have to talk as soon as possible to know what we're doing. I do need help, as you can see. I can't handle this alone. It's becoming overwhelming, I have to be honest. But more importantly, Jerry, nice to see you. And Jerry says, with only 3 days left until the West Ham game, my body is buzzing with excitement for what I am certain will mark the beginning of a truly historic season. I hope it ends up again. If we by the time the season ends, we'll look back and say, yeah, it's a historic season. And Rain once more. City collecting all trophies. They might win UEFA Champions League next year as well. They will. Why are you just going crazy about City right now? We're here to talk Chelsea, and I'm not going to go into reading everything you're typing about Chelsea, about City. If you're celebrating them, fine. But our fans do not make noise about these things. Instead, they cry about Hall. Everybody us as individuals each have we do have our priorities, what matters most for us, and people are crying for what matters for them. Sorenzo says, why do we have to sell Hall? That's the question we will try to answer as soon as possible. But you can't just. I'm glad you're not just you're just asking a question. You're not one of those that turned around and start blaming the club. Some of them going as far as going saying F Chelsea. I think that little kid is better than Kukurea. Unfortunately, getting rid of Kukurea isn't easy. Kuku and Stalin are not giving us what we need, but I believe with time, Stalin is going to stand up and show what he's made of. Don't hold your breath on that. That's one thing. You can say, but here's the thing. One thing you have to be at the back of your mind. I think the owners know that Stalin's move to Chelsea hasn't really worked. But the problem is getting rid of Stalin isn't easy. It'd be difficult to find a club that would be willing to pay his salary, and also letting him go, which you can say the only option, viable option for the club would be to terminate his contract, which means taking a huge L. So it's something that would take them time to calculate and see which one will be the lesser L of the options they have available to them. But that's, by the way, let's keep going, keep dropping the likes on the stream. Vic says the people that appreciate Lewis Hall have the right to be upset. Yep, you have every right to be upset, but you have to be cautious. Not to jump to conclusions and start blaming the club for deciding to sell Lewis Hall. It's not that straightforward. That's just what I'm advising people. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all. The beautiful game. RIP Chelsea Old Boys. What happened there? Can you elaborate? You use the word else. RIP Chelsea Old Boys. Can you elaborate? I'm not sure what to make of that one. It's plural. If it was just RIP Chelsea Old Boy, then I'd say, okay, what happened to him? But this time, maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody, that's that name on the screen. I said, this is somebody's a single individual's name. Can you please elaborate? But more importantly, a beautiful game. Always nice to see you. Poch knows better of what the team needs than the fan base who always cries like a baby over everything. Here's the thing. Something that will never stop is this. Every time an academy product is sold or leaves the club, people get all bent out of shape. It's nothing new. I'm used to it. And I know usually people, you can say at the point of the patch of that player, usually don't see things objectively. They just want to, you can say, the silence of what you on siding with one either the club or the player and then sticking to it. But I'm not into that. But more importantly, Santiago Muno, nice to see you. Let's see what else we have here. And Chikaloe, God help us, okay. Wow. Interesting name there because I know the meaning of each one of them. Please, let's keep Gallagher and Chalobah, Colwell and Chukwuemeka can be loaned out to Chelsea and be wise. Here's the thing. The manager, we were told, likes to work with a 25-man squad. So if we keep all these players, we'll have nearly 35 in total. So it's difficult. I'm just going to let them do their thing. The manager will be the one to pick what player will be part of his squad. And yeah, if that will help him do well, I'll take that. And big up to you too, JC. I appreciate you joining. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for always finding the time to join. Vic says if you are upset about Hall and equally appreciate the signings we're making this summer, please note we spend the 600 million net spend, minus 600 million net spend. We need to balance the books. Thank you for understanding. Good luck at all. It's as simple as that. And by the way, first of all, it's business. And these guys didn't become billionaires by being sentimental. Every decision they make, they take a look at it. They take the time to analyze situations and then make objective decisions without being sentimental about it. And you can say whatever they're doing, decision they've made, I get it, they've made mistakes, but I trust them to lead this club into a bright future. And I'm not gonna take my word back for that. And Lewis Hall's case is unique, but a lot of people are just took what the first it's a story they heard about Lewis Hall leaving Chelsea. They took it and they ran with it, and they don't care to look back to pay attention to what's really happening. Chelsea have added Bremen Johnson to their list of attacking targets and have held initial talks with Nottingham Forest over a move for the winger. He's not a player I know to actually present any solid argument with regards to whether we should keep him or not. But I will get to that in a bit. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Whiteley's a parasite mourning about Enzo and Caicedo. Let's see. Big up to you too, Lucas. I hope you're doing well. And Zalani, I hope you're doing well too. I appreciate you joining. And Lucas, I appreciate you too. Who else do we have here? Let's see. We have a Tangu Rido. I appreciate you. I agree with the club's 28 million for 18-year-old. It's better for him to leave Chelsea because he's only third or fourth choice as a left back. Good luck to him. But the story is more complicated than that. It's not that straightforward. But we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, this fan base only priority is keeping all academy players not winning a trophy. One thing I don't know. When you can make that suggestion, do you ever think that we cannot keep all the academy players? will every now and then miss out on 2, 3, 4, or let's say it depends, or maybe the situation, miss out on a few of them that are really good players. There's no way you keep them all. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you have to let some of them go, add a clause to their contracts. Let's see what else we have here. What else do we have? Coach, morning to you too, Chelsea Blue. This whole one is hurting. Yeah, it hurts, but we have to look at it objectively and not just start calling the club's names. I saw something I couldn't believe. Even some of the biggest names on Chelsea, within the Chelsea community, were cursing at the club, honestly. Which is unbelievable, really. And some of them you'd expect them to take the time, wait, and find out what's really going on, and not just jump into conclusions. But some were sensitive enough to say, if this is the case, once you start, if this is the case, which means you're saying if this is really what's happening, that this is how you see it. But morning to you too. He was our little hope and was a fresh face who played good. So we all have a soft spot for the guy. Yep, I agree with you, but we should be careful and judge objectively, not just run with one part of the story and not pay attention and not try to see things from the club's own perspective. Santiago, have no words. Let's see what else we have here. Any other thing to address here? I was asking, did anybody die? I'm confused here. I haven't seen any news with anybody passing. Can you elaborate? I'm not too sure what's going on. But Santiago Muno, can you elaborate? I'm confused here, honestly. Chelsea till I die, I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. We cannot keep every academy player. It's as simple as that. And before we judge, we must all take our time to analyze the situation and come to a sensible conclusion before judging. And RIP to whoever, again, everybody in the chat is saying RIP to, even though I'm still confused, not too sure what's going on. But yeah, if somebody is passed, let the person's soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. And Bobby, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Bobby says, smash the like button, people, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I think we're getting closer and closer to 17,000 subscribers. Hopefully we get there as soon as possible. Let's see. Jerisi says, please, can Chelsea don't make these mistakes regarding Hall, not Jerisi, J-Boy, regarding Hall, like they did with the likes of, Can we just stop the habit of every time we're about to sell a player, we start calling the sale of Kevin De Bruyne a mistake? He wanted to leave. And at the time when he was at Chelsea, we had better players, we had senior players. He had to wait. He had to wait to always get the chance to play every now and then, and he didn't like that. So he had to leave. So I'm not going to blame the club for losing out on him. It's not just him, it has happened. Look, more of this will still happen in the future because we've sold some of our academy players who wanted to leave or who ran down their contracts and wanted to leave on a free. In those situations, we had no options than to let them go. So now if they started fighting and lost in this, I'm not going to regret it. One thing is sure, I would look at them and say, yeah, he's a Chelsea Academy product. And because of them, we still have influx of young, exceptional talents that would want to come through the Chelsea Academy. And if you hear the story of Lewis Hall and Mason Mount, you say that they both actually decided to join the Chelsea Academy because it's more like joining the best school in the community. Not because they were through, not because they grew up, or you can say from when they were little they were Chelsea supporters. No, some of them had to join the Chelsea Academy because it's just like the best school in the community, in my opinion. So to me, it just doesn't make sense. Every time we talk about we're about to sell a player or let a player go out on loan, people start talking about mentioning Kevin De Bruyne. Brandon Johnson is a downgrader from Olise. Chelsea till I die. I appreciate you joining the show. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. We have a CFCOG. Big up to you too, brother. Much love to you. Always nice to see you. RIP old boy. Okay, now I see no S there. I was also shocked when I heard the news. May he so rest in profit, please. Amen. I think the name was spelled with an S, and I wasn't sure what's happening. What happened to him? If you can elaborate, I wouldn't mind listening to you. But may he so rest in profit, peace. And how old was he before he passed away? I want to know. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Poch, didn't start Lewis Hall in preseason 2. He started Gallagher and Maatsen more. Maybe that's another reason why they want to sell him. You're just saying they want to sell him, but that may well be one of the reasons. But we do not know. Let's see what else we have here. For the sake of record, I want to mention that Judge Benson shares my view that Chelsea will be contenders in the title race this season. Okay, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And for those of you that are watching, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat, just know that we appreciate you. You watching alone does go a long way. But we want you to do us one favor, one tiny beauty favor. Please take a second, drop a like on the stream to help us garner more likes. That will trigger the YouTube algorithm and get it to push the stream to more people who'll be interested in participating in the topics we have lined up here. 38 likes. Let's keep racking up the likes, people. I appreciate you all. And big up to my bro, Glenn 10. I appreciate you joining, bro. All right, so there's an S in his name. Coach, big up chat. RIP Chelsea Old Boys. Chelsea Old Boys, rest in peace. What happened to him? I'm asking the question. I don't know, but I want to know if you can tell us, and how old was he before he passed. But more importantly, may his soul rest in perfect peace. And then Glenn, thank you. I hope you're recovering well yourself. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. We appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. And Emmanuel, Academy player, Emmanuel Maikin, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. And this year from Hello Farm and Jafta Sequel, I hope you're doing well. Players are pure profit. Not all will make it. We wish Hall the best. It's as simple as that. If you love Hall, just wish him well. Let him succeed. And again, no matter how well it does, I'll look back tomorrow. The way I'll see it, a Chelsea Academy product. It's as simple as that. And we have Colwell, James, Gallagher, Chalobah as Academy products. Some people only care how many Academy players we have. They support Chelsea. And that's a good question, Rain. Sometimes you just have to make some sacrifices are made, honestly. And I believe there's a chance part of it being selling the kid, we make pure profit to balance the books instead of, you can say, end up getting into trouble with FFP and all that. Matson is also from the academy, and Matson looks like he's staying. Big up to you too, Temidaya, Oluwaraka, and me. I appreciate you and everyone. It's lovely to be here once again. I appreciate you, and I'm happy that you're happy to be here. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Santiago, greetings respectfully, just saying hello there. And I see my bro, Briani Yahayu, aka 343 Dylama, aka aka Contender FC, aka Vivel FC, and now Jackson CFC. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Much love to you. Big up, Kuchila. I totally agree with you. I appreciate that for agreeing with me. Let's say a Chelsea perspective. Chelsea Old Boys, he was on here a couple of days of times, but I think he was a Mineros regular. News came as a shock. Wow. Why did I remember his name? But more importantly, may his soul rest in perfect peace. And if anybody has an idea with regards to what happened to him, please do tell us. Never a good thing to lose a family member. Let's see. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let me see how much. Maybe. I think I may have to just say hello to those I haven't said hello to and scroll past quite a lot of stuff. The chat is going crazy. And it says we have to let players go. If they want to go, new good ones will rise. We are not like Brighton. There are repercussions. E.g., Kudus asked Brighton for a release clause. Haaland chose Dortmund for the development. Let's see. Why do people not like Lewis Hall? Who told you people don't like him? He's very talented. Unlike Mason Mount, it would be a mistake selling Lewis Hall. But you have to look beyond the surface to find out what's really going on. The academy serves papers beyond the player development for the first team. It also includes the potential for selling players to other clubs if they are surplus or don't meet the standards, or if they want to leave. Let me remix that a bit for you. But thank you for that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Just until I die, the academy is also a business. Yeah, more importantly. I appreciate you saying that. The beautiful game. Much love to you too, brother. Coach, it's simple. Lewis Hall is 13 million pure profit. He didn't want to play at left back, and he wouldn't bench any of our new midfielders. We cannot always insert a we can always insert a buyback clause if everything is if everyone is that worried. But here's the problem, though. People are just taking what they're hearing and running with it and blaming the club. Say some people are actually cursing the club. I couldn't believe that. Going to the extent of saying F Chelsea without even paying attention to what's happening. Or maybe if we have a financial situation that selling Hall will help us balance the books. They don't care. They just want Hall to stay and then let UEFA and the Premier League deduct points or maybe fine us maybe a lot of money. If that makes sense. It is a pity, or some of our fans are rather too emotional, you can say, or maybe how else should I phrase that? Too emotional and unrealistic with the way they analyze this whole situation. To be honest, I think Chelsea has been fair in ensuring they secure a better deal for Hall. It's as simple as that. That's how I see it. I'm just saying we have a bloated squad. Training will always be painful. Let's be truthful. It's as simple as that. It has to. Some decisions are hard, very hard decisions has to be made. And the manager actually said that a few days ago, that we have to make some difficult decisions because we're not going to keep every player. The owners, the coach, and the board know what they're doing. It's as simple as that. That's you can say one of the first delicious comments today. I'm not going to give it to the Blue Tiff again because I don't like him. Chelsea fans complain too much over everything. Not all academy products will make it into the first team. Again, it's as simple as that. I'm happy to see a lot of people understand that the situation isn't as straightforward as a lot of people make it out to be, or just go straight to blaming the board or the new owners. I appreciate you joining this morning. Do you rest at all, Michi boy? Do you take breaks? Do you rest? But more importantly, I hope you're doing well, Mitchell Boy. I appreciate you joining. If you're watching, please let's help Mitchell Boy get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. He's getting closer and closer and closer to that number. So please click the 3 dots to his name. Go to his YouTube channel and subscribe and let him know I sent you, Coach. Chelsea Old Boys was a regular on Johnny Miller's channel. He was a veteran match going fan. Wow. Unfortunately, he's passed now. And never a good thing to lose a family member. Unfortunately. May his soul rest in peace. And if anybody has any idea with regards to what happened, please tell us. Let's see what else we have here. This is Coach. If it's one thing, Chelsea Academy might be the whole EPL in years to come. Whenever again an EPL game is being played, there's hardly a day that will go by. You won't see a single team playing that has 1 or 2 Chelsea Academy products in them. So that's why, again, and as I said, there will continue to be influx of exceptional talents into the Chelsea Academy because they're just more like the best school in the community that everybody wants their kid to go there. That doesn't mean all of them are Chelsea through and through. And in the case of Lewis, we're hearing now he grew up supporting Newcastle and wouldn't mind leaving. He actually was the one that wants to leave on a permanent. Chelsea wants him to go out on loan because they like him, but he wants to leave on a permanent. Chelsea keeping the EPL standards high as usual. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Dortmund is a shining example. Haven't sold Bellingham, Dembele, Götze, Lewandowski, Holland, Oba, etc. And they still shine. Support the club, not the player. There's always a new player available. It's as simple as that. If any player wants to leave, just let them go. Omar Kali Olise still updates. We get to that in a bit. I think I'm seeing something new. I did see a report that says something to the effect of the deal going through, not certain. But at this point, I just you can say I'm just going to stay with what Fabrizio Romano said a few days ago, that Olise to Chelsea is imminent. That's the language he used. Whether that happens, I honestly do not know. Let's see what else we have here. It's not unusual that clubs continue to invest in academy while they protect the future and the career prospects of these young players. Chelsea are doing the same with the players. Yep. Now, Michael Newham, I'd rather see Matson stay than Hall, but Chilwell is out here playing chess to keep that position. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I love Lewis Hall. I don't know if you've ever seen me talk about him. But beyond that, I look at situations objectively. I don't just jump to conclusions. I know he's a fine player, and I'd rather him play in the midfield than on the flats. But the situation, you have to look at it objectively. We've read, again, we get to that in a bit, but very soon I'm going to stroke past quite a lot, except if I see anybody that I haven't said hello to, then I'll say hello to them. I love interacting with you, and as much as I love to do that, if I continue doing that, that's a chance. That's the only thing we'll do till the show ends. Unfortunately, KDB was a different situation. We had a winning midfield, and Mourinho was not ready to sacrifice that. KDB was training. Lewis Hall is just not ready to play. Very weak with the ambition of the club. There are so many ways to see that, yeah, let's see what else we have here. Has Matson played left back yet? No, I swear he's always up front. He hasn't, and I don't think the manager trusts him to play left back. Probably because of his you could say height, maybe, but that's just me speculating. I am told that Crystal Palace have discussed going into a tribunal with Chelsea over their approach for Michael Olise. Chairman Steve Parish is said to be unhappy about that. Here's the thing: the main point there is that they're not happy that we figured out that he has a release clause. They won when he sold. They get you can say hundreds of millions from his sale because he's a fine player. But luckily for the kid, he has a release clause. If I were Chelsea, I'll push and get the listed deal over the line. Let's go to a tribunal. It's as simple as that. It happens. I'm not sure why they're saying we tapped him off. Let's keep in mind that decisions aren't made based on a single aspect alone. When selling a player, numerous of variables are coming to play. It's as simple as that, and I like that. That's another delicious comment. Good morning, Coach. Good morning to you too, Latif from New York. My New York bro, much love to you. Always nice to see you, Coach. We don't have to sell Hall, but the question I want to ask you, does Hall want to stay? No, just loan him. We wanted to loan him, but Hall himself wants a permanent move, especially when Newcastle came calling. And now it's emerging that he's a Newcastle through and through. That's the way I'm just going to say it. Show the insert a bye-bye clause. Sell Chalobah rather, because we have 6 centre-backs. Here's the thing. In the case of inserting a bye-bye clause, all parties has to agree. When all parties don't agree, that doesn't happen. It's as simple as that. Factors like their performance, a role within the team, personal aspirations, compatibility with the coach, and more without concrete data, we cannot arrive at a definitive conclusion and say, yeah, stop cursing at the club or hating at the club and all that. But unfortunately, a lot of people do not. I'm told that Crystal Palace have discussed going to a tribunal. I think you presented that, and I've read that. I also understand that Olise's release clause contains the selling clause for Palace. Yeah, I think we'll end up getting that one over the line. Nice to see you, Eugene. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining. What else do we have here? And says, gotta rate Hall such a high selling. I rate him very highly. I know you probably were in the chat the day I was screaming at the top of my voice how well he was doing on the day. But something, I'm not too sure why he's decided he wants to leave on a permanent, but it's up to him. A few years to come, probably 2-3 people will understand what project will be. We won't have any Messi. It's as simple as that. Again, I said this during the start. These owners, they didn't become a billionaire by being sentimental when they make decisions. If they see anything that they sense will cause problems, even to the minute measure or anything that you can say they will regret doing, they are, most 90% of the time will yank it out, like cut it off and wouldn't do anything with it. Let's see what else we have here. A great morning to you too, Adebayo Markham. Nice to see you, brother. Much love to you. I'm going to scroll past quite a lot, especially if I've read your comments here. Hope there's a buyback clause. We don't know yet, but we'll find out. in Lewis Hall's contract, if Chelsea sells him, maybe he isn't what the coach wants, but it's better than Cucurella. I would take him in the left back position over Cucurella and what's his name, Ben Chilwell. He's better on the ball than two of them. He's a better passer of the ball than the two of them. But something is really going on. Maybe the manager wants experiences and decided he isn't the guy. Let's help him. Let's loan him out so he develops. But he wants a permanent move. Hall is he's a great lad. Everyone here saw that. Like what happened to Musiala, Keita, Aki, Rice, etc. But sending Hall to Newcastle, that's a huge mistake. At least to Bundesliga or Italy, you can't sell a player where they don't want to go. You sell a player where they want to go. And given that logic there, what I just told you, we were able to sign Moises Caicedo over Liverpool because he wants to come to us. He didn't want to go to Liverpool. We're able now to get the deal of Romeo Lavia over the line because he wants to come to us. Liverpool had more on the table again than we had on the table at the time, but because he wants to come to us, sometimes we had no option than to sell to us. So it's not that simple. It's a complicated process. Let's wish him well on his new journey unless he plays against us. It's as simple as that. And move on. The kid wants to leave. That's how I see it. The moment I saw that the kid Chelsea wanted to loan him to Crystal Palace or what they call again, Newcastle United, but the kid wants a permanent move. So probably he feels hard done by not getting the chance in the squad because he's gotten a chance to play and feels like he's good enough. And some are saying the reason being he didn't want to play in the left back position, and maybe that's where there's space for him. It's not that simple. Hall will play at left back at Newcastle also. Yeah, because they're signing him as a left back. So it just doesn't make sense. Players come, players go. Chelsea remains. It's as simple as that, honestly. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. Chelsea all the way. Nice to see you. Keep playing with Saul. You can't keep a player that wants to leave. Charlie Webster, Ian Mason, Conor Gallagher, they are superb talents. Yeah, keep all of them. And we'll still have space. Lewis Hall is not for sale. I think Olise still may have collapsed. There's a chance that may well has happened, but I'm not too sure. Hit the like button, people. 61 likes. Let's get it to 100 as soon as possible. I appreciate you all. So right now, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom as soon as possible. Please consider liking and subscribing. The club and manager are putting in every effort to guide us back to the top, or show your support to the channel by liking and subscribing. That will go a long way. But Hall is going to Newcastle as left back, not a midfielder. That's another confusing aspect of the whole talks. A few years to come, 2-3 players will understand what projects. Yeah, I think I've read that. And right now, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and I'll try to get your subsequent contributions. That was Hudson-Odoi, again, 17 million. Now he's 1 million. Yeah, that's also a lesson. And had Chelsea sold Hudson-Odoi as at the time, and lots of Chelsea fans will be complaining. And now chances are, had we sold him at the time, he would be one of the best players in the world right now. But we refuse. We refuse the 17 million pounds bid for him, kept him at the club. Now he's barely worth $1 million. So you can say it could go either way. You don't know. And in the case of Hall, the moment I saw that the kid wants to leave on a permanent, that he was Newcastle, he supported Newcastle growing up, I said, okay, that's it. Good luck to him. He's a player I love so much that I nearly lost my voice the first day he played full 90 minutes. I cannot believe we paid that big money for Kai Butcher. Something is wrong with what? Okay, that's your opinion there. Let's see what else we have. Anybody I have to say hello to? I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. There's just so much going on there. So I'm going to the very bottom. I'll keep highlighting your comments there, but I appreciate you all. 62 likes. Let's get it to 100 and shoot for 200 as soon as possible. Wow. Breaking news. I'm saying in the chat, Michael Olise signs new foyer Crystal Palace deal. I don't know. Who's the report? What's the source? That's what I'm asking. That's interesting. But I'm going to come to you. Let's talk about Lewis Hall. What do you make of the Lewis Hall situation? Interesting one.
Yeah, it's disappointing in my opinion because I share, well, I don't want to say sentiment, but I do share the sentiment that he's a good player. He's been a player that I know he's played, I think, about 10 games in total for Chelsea or something along
Hmm.
those lines, probably more. And he's been impressive. Yes, he's not the greatest player in terms of what he was asked to do in the position he was playing, which is as a left back, left wing back, depending on which one you want to call it. And his defensive ability is still a bit shaky. It still isn't at the level that obviously you'd want a team at Chelsea to be competing with other players in that position. But he's a player that you see that he has the drive, he does have the ability, and he does have the creativity, and he has he has an eye for goal as well. He's one of those players that can accommodate the offensive side of the team. So yeah, it's disappointing for me to find out that apparently he's going to go to Newcastle, and that a bid has been accepted and agreement is made. But at the end of the day, I've always said it's never good to become attached to these academy graduates because at any moment they could leave the club. Um, and I mean, judging based on the situation that we have in our position and the situation we have in the midfield as well, which is his actual position, he's a midfielder. It's not. It wouldn't really be easy for him, or game time would not be as easy for him to get in any of the in any of the positions because you have Chilwell, you have Ian Matheson, who despite hasn't played in that position yet, and there's one reason I think that is the case is that his defensive ability isn't really up to par. But you also have Kukurea as well, who has been linked with moves as well. But at the end of the day, I think Newcastle was linked with Kukurea. So if Lewis Hall goes there, I'm not really sure about them going for Kukurea again. Things could change, and obviously there's still time left in the window. But in terms of everything, I've always said never get attached to these players because it can things like this can happen, and it can happen at any moment. But Lewis Hall is a good player. He has a bright future ahead of him if he continues on the trajectory that he's going on, and obviously if injuries don't hamper his progression. But it is really surprising to me. But I wish him well if he goes to Newcastle, which looks like it could be happening. So as much as I'm disappointed because I really wanted to see him at the club and see him get an opportunity, I mean, at the end of the day, football is business, and there's a lot of narratives surrounding it. If it's him that actually wants to leave, or if it's a case where the owners see an opportunity to get to get funds in, try to level out the books, and it's
Hmm.
supposedly a fee that they could not turn down. So it remains to be seen. But if there's any truth to the fact that he's a Newcastle fan, it does kind of lessen the sting because at least he goes to a club where he's fond of and a club where he would obviously try to be the greatest at. So he's a good player and I wish him well if he goes to Newcastle. But it really is disappointing to see him leave because I really wanted to see him perform at Chelsea. But it is what it is.
Yeah, here's the thing. I was concerned asking the question, why are we um, wow, Olise rejects Chelsea to sign a new 4-year deal. I think the whole thing, the whole issue with Crystal Palace was probably because you could argue they don't feel like they're getting enough from the kid, given the market and how good the kid is. That's just how they were pained. They didn't like it that were activated at the release clause. But it looks like, yeah, multiple sources are reporting the Lisa have rejected Chelsea to sign a new 4-year deal at Crystal Palace. Now, if you go for him, they're not going to complain saying, probably inserted a new buyer clause around 100 million. They're not going to complain saying, yeah, you're tapping him up. I think that was their biggest problem. But yeah, let's move on from that one. Let's see. Roger, I'm going to come to you quickly. The Lewis Hall situation. What do you make of it? I took my time to look at it. When the news of first came out, I think if you have a thing, for instance, if you have a single, you can say a situation, and a lot of reporters from various, you can say news outlets about that particular situation, and go back, sit back in your living room, and tune into the to each of the stations where each of those individuals work for. You'd see them report the situation differently. The first report that came out said Chelsea have put Lewis Hall up for sale. No context, just that. Beyond that, they didn't say anything else. And people took it and ran with it. Even some of the biggest accounts were cursing out the club, saying these owners are absolute nonsense. Felix Johnson, to be specific, I don't care, said F Chelsea. Somebody saying F this club. Somewhere you can say, should I say, objected them or enough, or was sensible enough to start with. If this is in fact the case, then I don't understand. Somewhere, if this is in fact the case, cussing at the club and all that, but it just doesn't make sense that people, whenever they see something, they take it on face value and run with it without taking their time or wait a little bit to get the whole context and then analyze the situation and come to a sensible conclusion. But yeah, let me hear your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, good morning, Coach, or good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Big up to you. It's still morning for me. Yeah, 5:22 a.m. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Listen, I get everyone's point and I understand it. Regardless, you can now observe with quite a large data point what Chelsea are doing. Excuse me, with their academy players, with the exception of the centre-back that was on loan for Brighton, Colwell. This is what's transpiring. They're assets. They are assets that are net profit 100%. So there is nothing to deduct from them net profit. I mean, yeah, obviously other than teaching and so forth and time, but from a financial standing, from a spreadsheet standing, accounting practices, they are pure net profit. And so this is what Chelsea's done historically anyway, with the exception of a few individuals. This has been the norm. You look at JT, is the obvious standout. And now, obviously, the centre-back. For the most part, listen, you have to look at it as a business, and I understand that. I look at a player like Tomori, for instance. I believe it was warranted that we give him a chance, but that never took place. So, unfortunately, Colwell, he seems based on the fact that he was put out on loan. If he wasn't put out on loan, he would have probably never got the opportunity to play for Chelsea, period. He wouldn't have signed this new contract. So now, the thing I do have a problem with Hall is you just signed a 6-year bloody contract. It's that simple, if I'm not mistaken. Is it a 6+1 or a 5+1? I forget. But it doesn't matter. You just signed a contract within the last month or so. So then you're saying, well, he decides to go. Yeah, he has the right to change his mind, but he also has the right to honor his contract. You can look at it both ways. There's two sides to every coin. So
how about the fact that once a player indicates that they want to leave, if you're working for me, I'm not going to push to keep you.
Yeah, but you can you're right. You're right about that. But I can also conversely say, no, you don't have the right. We got a 6-year contract with you. You're going to have to suck it up. It's that simple. Remember, all three parties have to agree. Do you understand? Now, the problem with Chelsea has been over the last one season and starting the second season is he hasn't been given many opportunities. And when he has, he's been playing for the most part out of position. And coach, I understand that you look at him as a midfielder, but you have to understand, coach, you listen to for instance, any Portuguese or Spanish youth players, they don't train in one position, coach. There's multiple, sometimes 3 positions. Now, obviously, with the exception of a goalkeeper, for instance, you're not going to have a goalkeeper training as a midfielder also. It's so these players, the youth, for the last 10, 20 years have been training with a multitude of positions. It's that's why I keep on talking about Reece James, about you saying, well, it will take him time. No, it doesn't. You can plug and play, coach. So, yeah, I get it. He's primarily a midfielder, but he's also, look at Madsen, for instance. Not every player has the ability to do this. I'm not saying that you can teach every player. But a lot of youth players are taught to rotate in different positions and in different formations also. That's very important. I think this Hall case, I think we have done him a bit of a disservice because I don't believe we've given him enough opportunities. To be honest with you, I'm just being honest. That's my opinion. But if he is indeed a Newcastle fan, and yes, he's changed his mind, but then that's just after signing a brand new contract. That's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with him doing this, but I also have a problem with Chelsea not really giving him enough of a greater opportunity to showcase his talents. So, both sides are guilty, in my opinion, of this. With regards to the fans, whatever they're saying, being very, shall we say, discourteous towards the club, I'm not concerned in that. There's always going to be morons. It's simple. It's just a sad fact of life. So I would hope that that we put him on loan and try to keep him, because I believe if you're going to see that if with the obviously the exception of a career-ending injury, assuming he has the ability to stay healthy, I believe he has tremendous potential from what little I've seen. Obviously, we haven't really seen him extensively play, so one doesn't know. But from what little we've seen of him, I think his upside is quite large. It's very high. And
Roger, can you even hear me?
I can now.
No, you weren't listening. I was asking you, but it's not that you weren't
were
listening.
muted.
Maybe
I saw you talking, but you were muted.
I wasn't. I was looking at my microphone to be sure, but that's why.
Okay,
something I want to say quickly. I don't think it makes any sort of sense for people to be bashing the club, not taking the time to really look at what's going on.
I don't care about that. That's irrelevant. So what? So, I could say something about the royal family. It's irrelevant, coach. This is noise, white noise. It's irrelevant. I don't want to talk about fans belittling the team or the owners or whatever. To me, it's irrelevant. So what? We live in a society where we're allowed free speech for the most part. Obviously you can't shout fire in a crowded cinema. It's illegal unless there really is a fire. But for the most part, you understand what my definition of free speech is. So therefore, it's like it's noise. I don't pay any attention to that. If people want to criticize, they should criticize constructively, with data points preferably, or something that is logical. If people want to use derogatory language, then so be it. You can't change people, coach. I just ignore it. I just march forward. It's that simple. But with regards to Hall himself, as I said, my biggest issue is the fact that he just signed a 6-year deal. Of course, he has the right to change his mind. But then again, we also have the right to make sure that he honors his contract. As I said, you can look at it on two sides of the coin. It's that simple. My biggest problem is that we have obviously carried on the tradition of using our academy as a revenue source. It's that simple. And it makes total sense financially. It does. But I think the fan base have an issue with not allowing them to take that journey from Cobham across that road to the first team training ground, if you understand. And I think it's blocked so often, and they're not given the same opportunities as an equivalent player of equivalent talent that just plays for another team.
All right, there's an update. Let's look at it again. Thank goodness. I think you could say we're ready for that. And good morning, coach. Two things I do not want to me: some morning coffee and a Chelsea perspective. I appreciate you. Hopefully, with that spirit, Abdurrahman, you'd tell more people about Chelsea perspective so we can continue to grow as a community. One, Roger. Surprise. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Did Pochettino lie to us the day he said he was just tired? This says news. Reece James has picked up a fresh hamstring injury due to scan letter.
Incredible.
Wow. Interesting. That's what I'm saying. I don't really want. it just sounds as if Pochettino lied when he said he had to leave the pitch because he was injured. I'm not sure what to make of that, but yeah, the guy.
No, he could have done something this morning or yesterday. We don't know, Coach.
Wow.
Listen, we have to. If this report is indeed true, and it does come to fruition that he has torn a hamstring or whatever grade of injury it is, we may have to come to the realization that Reece James is, unfortunately, his DNA, his genetics is predisposed to injury. He's injury prone. And I hate using that term, but this could very well be the case. And listen, you cannot be a successful football player if you can't get on the pitch. He may never be able to fulfill his potential based on the fact that he's not healthy enough. I think we have to come to this realization. Look at Silva. He's 39 soon, and he has obviously been blessed with good genetics, and obviously he looks after his body. But there are some people that just are not that fortunate.
I just don't understand this Reece James situation, really.
Why? It's quite. I've seen it in different sports. There are people that are susceptible to being injured and having career-ending injuries, and I've seen some players that have played into their late 30s and have never experienced a major injury. There's a lot of lady luck, and listen, if this is the case where he's too muscular, there are some, or it's just it's genetically you're predisposed to getting injured. It's the makeup, maybe the muscle ratio, whatever it is. I'm not a doctor, but whatever it is, he's more susceptible to getting injured. And we have to come to this realization that this chap, I'm not saying he's a flop. I don't mean to say it in that context, so please don't misinterpret me. But I believe there's a strong possibility that he may never be able to realize his true full potential, sadly.
Yeah, because it's been just a few games, boom, something else happened. A few games, boom, something else happened. And right now, it's clear he's injury prone. You can't. I don't think we can argue otherwise.
He had one bad example where he hyperextended his knee, where it's the way he landed and the knee buckled. That's lady luck. That has nothing to do with genetics. That's just a way, just like going in for a tackle and someone snaps your tibia and fibia and you have a compound fracture. That has nothing to do with genetics. That's just a bad tackle. Just like him landing incorrectly. That's just pure fluke. And obviously there are, shall we call them knock-on side effects of, trying to recoup, trying to compensate, the body compensating for different muscles. That could be an issue also. But there's A, lady luck, and there's B, genetics. And listen, I said before the season started, we needed Fofana and James and bloody Chilwell to stay healthy. And if he does indeed miss a substantial amount of time again, we for the first time now, I'm glad we have Gusto. But we have to come to the realization that he may never be the player we think he can be.
Not down to him not having the abilities, but injury and all this. Sorry, Ty?
I have accepted what Roger just said a long time ago. I said, yeah, it reminds me of you tend to come across these type of players a lot in football, have great potential. Whenever they're fit, they're one of the greatest players that you can come across, or the best players that they can be. But injuries have either hampered their progression or hampered their career, and it ends up making them having to retire earlier than they want to, and sometimes at a young age. And it is unfortunate because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he had surgery or if he didn't have surgery. I'm not sure if it was for that reason as well. If it's a hamstring injury, then obviously there's really something wrong there. It's not about not being fit. It's not about resting him. It's something about it's just simply like the best ways, like Roger said, it has to do with genetics. It's just how fate has it. You've tried everything. You've tried to minimize the game time, but still there's just always an injury popping up. So it's clear to say that he's injury prone. I've said he's injury prone a lot. He's prone to injury. It's something that keeps happening to him, and no matter what step you take, it keeps happening. So I've accepted a long time ago that, you know what, James is an excellent player, and he has come a long way. How he came to the team is poetic and beautiful, but I don't think he's gonna be able to get to that potential that he has, because
Yeah.
these constantly keep hitting him left, right, and center, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the reality, and it's just what we have to accept.
And Ty, that's why I marvel at a player like Carl Walker that has been able to stay healthy for the most part, but more importantly, maintain his speed at such a, shall we call it, an advanced stage. So, and that's something that you need a lot of lady luck on your side, and unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have it. But listen, this could be either, shall we call it, an erroneous scan, or guess what? He may recover from this and never get another injury for the next 15 years. One doesn't know. But at this current moment in time, in this, in this time delta in time, he has not been blessed with good health. That's to put it mildly.
It is concerning. Here's the thing. New rule again. If you're paying attention, the moment we switch the topics, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, because if I don't do that, if I continue to try to get whatever you have in the chat there, then I'll be going back and forth, and that can be very exhausting. We want a sustainable approach, really. I'm going to come to you, Bobby, quickly if you're there.
Hola, Bobby.
Let's take it in this order, since we're on Reece James right now. If you can start from there, what do you make of the situation? Thank goodness we have Marlo Gusto, who's equally good and has the potential to become an even better player. But but if James stays out, which means we may well need another right back, since James is hardly fit. It's concerning, really. I've refused to say he's injury prone, but I have to say that. But quickly, IBC says we should get look at Galano. Why do I know that name? I don't think I know. Even if I know him, I don't think I know him that well to present. You can say a convincing argument with regards to why Chelsea should sign him. But Bobby, Reece James injured again. What's your done with that? We'll get back to talking about Lewis Hall's situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite clear that we probably do need to consider getting in somebody else as well. However, having said that, they may not do that because in an emergency, Moises Caicedo can play right back. He's not bought for that, but that further strengthens the need to have the flexibility of Lavia, because if any of those midfield three drops, we can move people around. He can go right back in an emergency, and we still have Gallagher. I hope we continue to have Gallagher and Santos. This is why you need those numbers in midfield. I know Pochettino is saying he wants a 22-man squad, which I think is a little bit too meager. Whether that is inclusive of goalkeepers, which is worse, or excluding goalkeepers, to say, I think it should be excluding goalkeepers, which will mean 25-man in total. Okay, but this is it. This is what happens. It's a shame. We know that there's something wrong in and around Reece James. We know this. Will he recover? Well, the longer it goes on, the less likely it means he's going to recover. He's always going to be that player, it would seem, at the moment. So I don't know what to say, really. Having Caicedo is a plus. Is he a right back? No. Can he second into right back? Yes. Do we need to get somebody else? Probably, but if we get somebody else, because of Pochettino's stringent rules, it will mean that we will lose somebody else in another area of the field, and probably somebody we wouldn't like to lose. I know you're coming on to the whole Lewis Hall business, but, I don't want us now, because we have to get another right back potential, to start considering losing someone like Gallagher or Martson, which will be the case if that right back is not somebody, of a lot of flexibility. I don't know. I'm sure you come on to the news about Michael Olise soon.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
That's a political move if ever I've seen one, and I don't think we should be too bothered by it, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And Bobby, just to start you off with the Hall talk, here it says that Lewis Hall wanted to leave Chelsea. I am told he was a Newcastle fan growing up, so that always has some influence. Yeah. He feels he can continue his development more, fostering minutes, etc., or elsewhere, and I don't blame him for that. But what I don't like is people looking at this, taking it, running with it, bashing the club, bashing the new owners, the manager, and all that, yada yada. But I want to hear from you. In my opinion, I don't think that's okay.
No, it's not okay. I personally feel he's our best left back. I think he's better than both Cucurella and Chilwell.
And I'm sure you've already made that argument too. So that's a tapping, Bobby.
As we're seeing with the let me just land. As we're seeing with the issues that's just happened with Olise, there is politics in football, whether we like it or not, and this especially financial politics. Both Chilwell and Cucurella cost the club more money. Now Chilwell will be easy to sell, and he's not advisable to sell. But Cucurella is not that easy to sell because of his wages. And I think he's the one that really should have gone instead of Hall. But Hall has seen that, and he's seen, okay, midfield, forget it. Left back, which is my area where I can ply my trade, and which is what Newcastle want him for, because believe you me, he can't get into their midfield either. I better go where I can play. And first of all, it was a loan move to Crystal Palace, which he would have been happy with. But then suddenly Newcastle...
We were told was very close, right?
It was close, and I think also helped them with their attitude with Olise as well. But that's another matter. But the opportunity for Newcastle showed itself. His family, he has a lot of sort of Geordie relatives, although he was born down south here in Slough, Middlesex, but which is sort of more the Chelsea area. But to him, it's a professional move, and it makes sense. Now, what the club has to do is either put a good buyback clause or a sell-on clause. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't particularly stand in his way, in that as good as he is, he's not irreplaceable. He's very, very good, don't get me wrong, but he's not irreplaceable. And we know that there's going to be somebody of his ilk coming through our academy that we will get rid of. So, why not him for £30 million? Sadly enough, I wish we could get more because he's just signed a 6-year contract. But I understand the club's financial position. And we need some clarity about this whole Ziyech situation, because I'm getting fed up with it. I'm getting concerned with it. And I'm not sure whether he has actually, some people are saying, oh, they've got him on a free. Well, how does that work? He's still contracted. Have we bought him out of his contract? But that's a further conversation.
Hello. Hello.
I know when coach has just muted me, himself, and everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, 2 sugars, please, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see what I'm saying about Lewis Hall. I think, selling him, it doesn't feel nice. It's not what I want, but it's almost an inevitability. You can't keep them all, and there's going to be 1 or 2 that will go somewhere and ball out. And I think he's the one, really. I think he's going to do very well wherever he goes, as long as it's not against us. I think we can put a good buyback clause on him, or if they don't want that, which will be silly of them because that's money for them, a good sell-on clause.
I think we should do both, Bobby.
Yes, if it's possible.
Yeah, legally, if you could have both those stipulations,
Yeah.
why not?
Because they clearly want him, they clearly need him. I was having a little tit for tat with a Newcastle fan on Twitter about this. They're all daggers drawn against Chelsea at the moment. Everybody wants to weaken Chelsea, hurt Chelsea, smear Chelsea. They're all coming after
I had
us.
an issue. Can you guys hear me now?
No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
The question I wanted to ask you, in terms of sell-on clause, buyback clause, all parties involved have to agree.
Yeah, of course they have to agree. I don't see Lewis Hall disagreeing to any of that, especially a buyback clause. He's not going to, disagree. I think is he a Newcastle fan really? Kind of loyalty to your family, I suppose. Buyback. Does he not want to come back to Chelsea? I think if there is the opportunity and if there's a position, he will come back. I mean, I don't think he's that. I would be surprised if he's bothered by that, to be honest. He might be, but I would be surprised. A sell-on clause, he definitely won't be bothered by. He'll leave that to the clubs to thrash out.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this again. Every time we switch topics, I will scroll to the very bottom. So, Bobby, I'm going to bring you in this one in particular. Michael Olise. This reports that breaking news: Michael Olise has signed a new 4-year deal at Crystal Palace. A chairman of State Parish has announced. I think, in my opinion, what I said initially was that this is just them. They're not happy. They feel like they are underselling him, or maybe they're not getting enough money from selling him because we've already triggered the release clause. So, but I want to get your thoughts on the situation. And Fabrizio Romano did say that Michael Olise to Chelsea is imminent, but right now, clearly, it's not going to happen. And thank you to those of you that broke that in the chat there.
Well, I would never say never. It depends on what the new buyout clause is. If the new buyout clause, if he has one, he'll be stupid not to, but you never know. If the new buyout clause is maybe 60 million, then it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea feel they really want him, that they continue with it. This is a political financial move. They weren't happy with the buyout clause, and they put pressure on him to sign this. He hasn't done this all singing, all dancing. The only thing we don't see in that picture is the gun behind his head. I'm joking, but I
think I like that one. But go ahead.
They put pressure on him for sure. He's been injured. Yeah. They've been taking care of him. They've come to him, come to his family, and they put, look, help us. We've helped you at a time when you were nothing. We brought you to prominence. You can sign this so we can up your buyout clause. He would be very stupid not to have one because that they would definitely keep him there for a few years. I think he does have one. Now, depending on what it is, if they have a buyout clause of 100 million, which would be extremely ambitious of them, then he would be stupid to sign that because he's more or less signed himself in for the whole 4-year contract. But if they have a buyout clause of 60 million, which to me sounds reasonable and sounds more profitable for them because they only got him for what, 4 or 5 million, if that, I think Chelsea may not leave the table. We might value him.
Or even 50 million,
Yeah, I think, so it all depends. Now,
so can I just quickly ask something? Did we not trigger this buyout?
We did.
So if that's the case, then if we've triggered it, can they legally sign a new contract because we've already triggered it? When they're
claiming, I think the whole thing, the basis of them not agreeing to let him go, even at that, they started by saying we were tapping him up, And
Oh.
even if we trigger that, if Olise himself at any time says he doesn't want to go, the triggering that doesn't mean
anything.
it doesn't mean anything. He's not, again, he's a human being. He's not like we're buying a furniture. You can say
He's not a
that we
slave.
paid, we have to take it.
It's not a slave trade.
No, but,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I believe once you triggered the actual clause, let's say hypothetically, you say, okay, I'm going to go for player A from club B. I'm triggering, we're notifying you legally in writing that we've triggered the clause. You telling me that, in other words, that until funds are transferred, we can't own him then, and they can't renegotiate.
Yes, and especially if the player decides he doesn't want to go and he wants to sign a new contract,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do.
Okay,
that's fine.
Then, for all intents and purposes, then a buyout clause isn't really worth the paper it's written on.
It is, if the player wants to leave.
Oh yeah, okay, okay.
If it's all down to the player. If the player wants to leave, then the club can't do a damn thing because there's a buyout clause.
So then, why wasn't this expedited in the first place? It hasn't been a day or so. It's been, how long has it been?
He's agreed personal terms with us, Roger. I think the issue has always been Crystal Palace.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I don't think you understand my point of view. When did we trigger this clause, is my question.
About a day or two ago. Couple of days
I thought
ago.
it was longer. Okay.
Look, you can't argue this. You know, the clause has been triggered, yes. Then the question is, does the player want to go? Yes. But then he's changed his mind because they put pressure on him. You know,
and I think something else Bobby said is this. What was it? I just lost it. I think politics, because at first they were hiding that he had a buyout clause.
Yeah.
They were also saying he had a buyout clause, but it's not 30, it's beyond 30. They wanted to change something behind the scenes, in my opinion. If you ask me, I don't know if that was the case, or to get him just to sign a new contract as quickly as possible. That's how I see it. Just following up that particular story, but before I do that, I want to read what we have in the chat. I said terminate Ziyech's contract. I think we get to that in a bit. But Wally Waldo, more importantly, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well, brother. And Constantine Dante, much love to you, brother. We don't need Olise Madrid is a guy, but we need numbers. We don't need just a single individual in a particular position. Olise is good, and also homegrown quota helps. But yeah, we're not getting him anymore. That Ziyech saga is getting pathetic now. I think he leaves. I know there are rumors that he's failed Oh yeah, look at him. Oh my goodness. Does that console you? The Pharaoh. Does the fact that Olise isn't coming to Chelsea console you? You wanted Jude Bellingham, you wanted Enzo Fernandez, you wanted Moses Caicedo, you wanted Romeo Lavia. Did you sign any of them? No. And now you're coming here to console yourself the fact that we're not getting Olise. Oh wow. I'm sorry to see it, but at least I can see you're happy now. Maybe that will help you enjoy the fact that you missed on Olise. You missed on Caicedo and Lavia. Sorry, he's salty, yeah. I'm so sorry to see that, brother. I feel for you. Yeah. Just give me 1 second, Bobby. Olise doesn't want that. Yeah. Thank you. Enjoy that. How many wingers do we have now? We don't have too many. I think we need wingers. That was why I was calling for us to sign Olise. Let's see what else we have here. Olise has always been wow. I'm not gonna go to that next sense. Doubts they will put a buyback clause this time. I don't think they will, but I think Olise's family, if they're smart enough and his agent paying attention to what's going on, they know if without the buyback clause, he's not gonna get out. But let's see. We'll find out. We'll find out very soon in a few days if he signed a new contract. But if they get him to sign a new contract without adding a buyback clause, then yeah, it's sinister, really, in my opinion. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Look what Madrid had done last season, last 4 or 5 games. I think it's good enough, but you can't say you can have a single individual for one position. You have to have at least a 2 for competition. And if the other person gets injured, the other person can come in and does an equally good job, or maybe an even a better job, if that makes sense. This is Simon Phillips has reported that there is a new release clause in the contract. How much we don't know, and I don't know if we can trigger that immediately and say, okay, we want him, but probably a price we're not going to be able to afford at this time.
That's what it's about. It might be a price.
It's about how much they're selling him for. Yeah, everybody else is going for 100 million, 60, 70, and he's going to go for just 35. As good as he is, I think it's all about that. He signed a new deal. Yeah, it's about money. But money, Bobby is right. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. What's the new release clause? I don't know. I don't have any idea. So anything else to get here? Ben Johnson from Nottingham Forest. We'll talk about that in a bit. Let me highlight that. We have items lined up that we want to get. But Wally Waldo, more importantly, I've said hello to you. Chelsea want Brendan Johnson. I don't even know him that well to argue why get him or not. And it looks like, IBZ agrees to that. Let's see. Bobby with his slave trade again, but he's making a point. Yeah, he's making a point. What he said was aligned, perfectly aligned to what I said there. Let's see. If you're in the chat, please deal with the Liverpool fans. That console them. They're crying. You said they found solace in the fact that we're not signing Olise. If we want to sign Olise, get the deal over the line. I know we're capable of doing that. We signed bigger players. I think Chelsea should stay away from this boy. And Fabrizio Romano did you guys dirty. You Liverpool guys, you went from Enzo to Endo. Which means they cannot accuse us of tapping up. Yep, yeah, they cannot. It's as simple as that. And some people are saying we had to run away because they're accusing us of tapping, and they want to take us to the tribunal. They want who wants what right now? Let's see what else we have. Chelsea should go for Kudus. That's a chance we move for him. Chelsea should sign Wahi. Wahi has some stories. If you heard, you may not push for Chelsea to sign him. Why this panel talking like they know everything? Why you talking like you know everything? Who told you they know everything? Somebody give you their opinion. If you don't like it, present yours. It's as simple as that. That's why we're here. Nobody told you he knows everything. Liverpool FC is in the mud. It's as simple as that. So they're here consoling themselves with the Olise story. Lavia hasn't actually been complete. Lavia is completed. So don't console, don't cry. Why he is better than Stanley? Who? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna scroll to the very bottom and then we switch it to the next topic. Anything here? Let's see. Get out of here. Enjoy your time out. The Egyptian king is going to Saudi Arabia soon. Yeah, and it gets better for Liverpool. That's by the way, Sterling is very lucky. He dodged the Olise bullet. You could argue that Olise is too similar to Nani. No. I think Olise is more direct. Always wanted a different profile. I think they differ in so many ways, in my opinion. But let's see what else we have there. What did Glenn say that means? Tell them that. Let's see what else we have here. Why are we muting Liverpool FC fans? Come on, man. Let's be fair. Okay, up to you. You guys decide on, have a meeting and decide on what you want to do. Chelsea wants Brendan Johnson. I'm not going to pretend I know him. We cannot rely on Nicholas Jackson alone. We have to have someone else to come in. Selling Hall is not, but at least I can go with injury. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's see what else we have here. Don't hide Liverpool fans. Just leave them. As long as they're not being abusive, just leave them. Honestly, that's my suggestion. That Roger dude phoned in to talk Sport saying Klopp should be sacked.
No.
Roger, did you?
No,
Really?
I've never been on TalkSport.
Okay, Olive doesn't want to come. Fairly, is it Olise? I think you mean Olise. Doesn't want to come. Fair play to him. Let's go make a statement again. West Ham on Sunday. We can do without Olise, but Olise would have been a good addition to the squad. Let's see what else we have there. Chelsea would definitely find another talent in that position. Kudus is still willing to join us, and many more. Crystal Palace, they just ruined a relationship. I'm sure in the future they would want a player or two on loan from us, and they're not going to get that. Let's see what else we have here. Greetings, Kachila, greetings to you too, Roro, Ball, and the rest of the panel. The truth is that Olise has far more productivity in his game than Madueke and Sterling put together. I think I agree with that. That was when I saw that statement, I said, no, I think he's different. But thank you for that delicious comment there. Coach, this was a tough morning. When can CFC catch a break? Olise should have just said that long time ago. I think he wasn't, again, you can say, like Bobby explained, it's a political move. And you can say they're not happy that they're selling him for that cheap. They want to sell him for even more. I'm sure they know quite well they cannot keep him forever. Reece James, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say either. as perplexed as you, I believe you are. Reece James injured again. Nah, coach, we cannot be muting people because they're Liverpool fans. They provide value, but they should just watch their mouth. But in my opinion, leave them. I'll just not read their comments. We cannot console the Liverpool fans. Yeah, deal with them. They're out for months. Olise doesn't want it to come. Fair play to him. Let's make a statement. I think that's redundant there. Roger just DM'd me the meaning of life. The man knows everything. Wow. Reece James injured again. The guy must just do a surgery and fix it. And that's no guarantee. Chile Nduka or Ndukwe, I don't know. There's no guarantee after a surgery it fixes anything. I think he had the surgery. Was it post or pre-World Cup? I just can't remember. Let them cry. Yep, let them keep crying there. So I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. We have to switch it to the next topic. I'm going to be highlighting your comment. And here's the link to Ty's YouTube channel, CFC Sessions. Let's help him get to 1K as soon as possible. He's getting closer and closer to that number. Please go check it out and be sure to subscribe. Let's have him get there. So this particular one here, just give me a second here. Is that the window I want to share? Yeah, that's it. I have it there. So let me start with you, Roger. This says Crystal Palace they've discussed going to a tribunal with Chelsea over their approach for Michael Olise. Chairman Steve Parish isn't happy about their conduct. Olise's release clause also contains a sell-on clause. Wow. So that's exactly that they were pained at the time that we were going to sign Olise without them having, you can say, sell-on clause and also not getting a sizable fee from his sell, in my opinion. But Roger, I think this confirms pretty much everything that Bobby said already. Your opinion?
Yeah, I have nothing to say. It's just, it is what it is, Coach. It's obviously the player changed his mind or turned, his head was turned, whatever. It's, you know, if there is a buyout clause, then it only needs two parties to agree on that, and that would be the buying party and obviously the player, and obviously that didn't come to fruition. So
Roger,
yeah,
if there is a buyout clause, that is the agreement.
Yeah,
you meet the clause.
Exactly.
It's not in dispute, and it's down
exactly
to the player to say whether he wants to join.
No, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
What that does is that it takes away the club and allows for negotiation between the buying club and the player.
Exactly.
Straight away, the club becomes non-existent.
The selling club, the selling club. Yes, exactly.
So in this case, what I really want to know
but
is,
we already came to terms. We already had agreement in place, and if that is the case and it's in writing, then how is this negated by a new contract? Listen, legally,
well, you can always change your mind.
It's simple. The player, they can convince the player to say, "I'm not coming again." And then that's it.
Okay, I don't know legally,
Look,
but if he's already signed something.
Roger, as our resident lawyer, know that there are many people that have agreed to go to a job and then change their mind. You can always do that.
And you can also take them to court also. This is a litigious society.
If it's signed.
No. If you listen, if you put something, let's say January the 1st, I decide to go to Club A, and that Club A triggered a buyout clause, and on January the 1st, I've signed agreement with that club. Unless there's small print to say that it can be negated for whatever reason, I believe that's a contract. That's a signed contract.
Then why do they still have to sign a contract?
That's my question. So no, I see what you're saying. My question is, how can they actually then go ahead? They, meaning Crystal Palace, can go ahead and sign a new contract. So I don't know. Obviously, there's a loophole, or my interpretation of him signing something chronologically prior to the new contract, meaning coming to an agreement, isn't worth the paper it's written on. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know
I get it. We've triggered the release clause, but Olise hasn't signed for Chelsea.
No,
he's
I
not
know.
obliged to join Chelsea. That's how I see it.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then that's the case. Gentlemen, it's a mute bloody point. We're talking about something that is
Roger,
senseless.
Roger, what the point is?
What is the point, Bobby?
The content of the agreement is terms of a future contract.
Yeah, no,
For
I get
example,
that. I understand conceptually.
he may agree to earn £10 a month when he joins Chelsea. The agreement is subject to the contract. So if you don't have a contract, you can't activate the agreement.
So therein lies the problem. So when do we know actually when we did trigger the buyout clause? Do we not actually
I don't know. I don't know the
factually?
exact date.
We said about 2 days ago this happened.
So that was it.
And
Okay,
that was when it was publicized in the media, yes.
Yeah. So then it behooves, shall we say, the Chelsea hierarchy, whomever the people, the powers that be, then they need to have expedited it. And obviously, Palace got ahead of us, and it's that simple. Game over. Next
No,
point.
they proved they didn't want it. They didn't want it to happen. Like I said, in my that's my opinion,
What are you
Roger. How I
talking about?
see it, had they again, they've always been complaining.
Jesus Christ.
So, which means they were not forthcoming during negotiations or talks. Because had that been the case, I think the deal would have been over the line. Because we triggered the
coach, because they
were reluctant to let him go. Because
Yeah,
probably behind the scenes they were pushing him to
Coach,
sign a new contract.
Coach, I agree with you. I'm not. It doesn't matter. You're obviously not understanding.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's irrelevant, Coach. It's the fact that guess what? They turned him. It's that simple. They believed that the buyout clause was too little. It's that simple.
Yeah,
And
they
then
want more money. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And it's all about money. So guess what? We didn't win this one. Move on. That's my whole point. So
Move on to Kudus.
Or whomever. Or actually, was this, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, was getting Olise, was this, shall we say, a career blocking move for Madueke?
I don't see it that way because Madueke cannot play there alone.
No, you look at Madueke with his injuries as well. And in a way, I'm slightly relieved because
then you're not going to have 20
injured players.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why Pochettino's saying, and I'm telling you, I've seen it several times. He said 22, 23, 24. This is not realistic for Poch to say he wants a team no bigger than 22 to 25. It's just not realistic based on our injury history.
Log back in. Sorry, I'm coming. Because I'm.
Yeah, no problem.
Here's one thing I think also, Roger.
It's just not realistic. It's not realistic. But that's why I want, for instance, that's why I didn't want to put players like Hall out on loan. For the simple reason is Chilwell has yet to prove that he can stay healthy in the last 3 years.
Here's something else I want to say, Roger.
Yeah.
I think the Olise drama. I think the owners have proven that every time they're going for a player. If there's such drama as the player, the sense that the player doesn't want to come, maybe the player also told them, "Look, I don't know." They somehow found out that it looks like he will end up staying. They didn't push that much to get it over the line.
And Bobby's right. Unless there's a new buyout clause, so let's say 50 hypothetically or 60, maybe the Chelsea hierarchy will deem that an appropriate amount. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if it's an ungodly amount, 100, 200 million, whatever, obviously I'm being facetious, then obviously it's non-negotiable.
And we're actually talking about a player who won't play for a while.
Yeah, I know, a couple of months apparently.
Yeah,
but to me,
I'm not sure again how long he'll be out, but it still doesn't make any sort of sense.
And this to me this shouldn't be our priority anyway, in my opinion.
Look, I think we're good, but if we can get a more number there, because Madueke, I get it, he's been fine since he joined us, but he has injury. People are so concerned with regards to his injury record. So I think we may have dodged a bullet. We don't know, but whatever happens, we'll find out.
Then we actually have to look. We have to be introspective and look at our strategy. Why are we targeting players that have a history of injuries?
I'm not too sure why, but we got to have a conversation about potentially selling Reece James. And I think even who you're going to sell him to. Potential buyers will probably be like Real Madrid. Do you think they'd risk that much money? And he's on a long-term contract. And if they're concerned that he's injury prone, they won't pay you how much you'll be asking. So I think he stays. Maybe, hopefully, we'll find a solution to that. But I'm concerned right now. Coach Sosas, how do you pronounce that? Is that Scousas? Scousas provide as much value to the streamer as Lukaku does to our attack. Honestly, as long as they're not being abusive, just leave them. If Madrid were to offer 100 million for him, I would accept it because he's just too injury prone. The club may well take that. It depends. Let's see what else we have. They keep dropping the likes on the stream. Steve needs to calm down. Let's see. Olise will turn into Wilfred Zaha. Yeah, if he's not careful. Look what they did to him. They refused to let him go. When big clubs, well, some of the biggest clubs were looking to sign him, and he left as a free agent. I think I think he joined Galatasaray or so. He's too fragile, and what's the point of having him in the squad if he's just gonna be injured every now and then? And I'm quite sure I can say this. I don't feel like Mauricio Pochettino told us the truth that Reece James left the pitch because he was just tired. It doesn't sound like he told us the truth. It's a weird situation with Olise. I guess we will know more details soon. We'll find out soon. And they're saying that we pulled out because they threatened to take us to a tribunal. I don't think that's the case. I think we just got tired of the drama because you could argue we could have gotten the deal over the line if not because they were bit reluctant and playing games bitter that they're not getting that much money from the sale of the player. You never know. They may well leave to regret not selling him now, but I hope that's not the case because that's a fine player in him. If that's true, then Olise don't have ambition and wants to be in prison like Zaha. But here's the thing, he's just 19. Probably you could say his parents actually convinced him to agree to the new deal. Most, in my opinion, if you ask me, I say most
possibly.
likely. Yeah, because he's still 19. They probably have parents controls most of the thing. You could say helps him. His parents help him make decisions. I wish Chelsea can hijack Kudus. Maybe you never know. And I wouldn't call it hijack because we've been there for a while. Simple Roger, the player changes his mind, new contract, that's it. I think that's how I see it too. Olise rejected us. I wouldn't say rejected us. He wanted to come. He's a great person at times, according to what we've been told. They probably doubled his wages as well, like they did for Wilfred Zaha. But unfortunately, his agent doesn't look like he's paying attention. He wants Man City. Nope, didn't say anything about Man City. Man City weren't pushing that much actually. And our Silver says that Chelsea in conversations with Nottingham Forest for a swap deal for Brendan Johnson with who? It may involve a player plus cash. Hudson-Odoi, Chalobah, or Matson may be the one likely to go the other way. Wow, some conversation there. Nigerian Chelsea fans buy a bottle of Gordon's dry gin to consult Liverpool fans. You mean console Liverpool fans asking them, okay, drink, okay, consult maybe. I think console the maybe your phone helped you type that one. Forget about yourself this season. Yep, I think I agree with you. I like that one there. He must have told the Chelsea about the release clause. I think he must have the new release clause, and they said we're not doing this. He's messed up. I wouldn't say that. It's his life. He does whatever he wants with it. Any news on what's going on with Ian Matson? Not too sure. I haven't seen anything suggesting that we want to sell him. We didn't sign Olise, just move on. It's as simple as that. We've made you can say more important signings this window than Olise, so I'm not concerned. No, we're not because we didn't sign Olise. No. Real Madrid wanted him for 100 million. I saw that report too. But I don't think it happens. Take 50. I am okay. Gusto is here, but we can't rely on Gusto alone. Mr. Polito, I understand that we agreed personal terms, but if not, based on Roger's logic, if we activate a release clause, then we are the only ones allowed to sign that player. Meaning we could sign for $1 a week. I think you misunderstood Roger's argument.
What the hell?
You misunderstood what you were saying. But let's move on. Yeah, we have Gusto. Take your time to hear Reece. You could argue that, but we can. Somebody's saying sell Gusto and keep sell Reece James and keep Gusto alone. That'd be a huge risk. If we sell Broya, we should try and get Balogun from Arsenal. Okay. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy, really. If his actual market value is around 50 million and rising, and his release clause was 35 million, give him a new contract offering a sign on fee of 5.5 million, and a new release clause will be 15 million. Makes sense? Maybe. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let's see. Are there rumors of Ansu Fati leaving Barcelona? I think there are quite a lot. If so, we should sign him. Do I think it's what we need right now? I'd say no, in my opinion. If we were happy about being selected, then if we were okay, then it's okay to be rejected. Yeah, it's as simple as that. You can have everything your way. At coach, I don't agree. Olise has mess around now. If that's how you want to see it, you go ahead. Now Palace are complaining and bringing negative spotlight on us. It doesn't move us. We have lawyers too. If they, because I'm reading, they've informed their lawyers they want to take us to a tribunal. We do have lawyers too, and I'm sure we can afford more lawyers than them. If anything, from whatever how this ends, they're the ones that they're gonna lose if we're not happy, because they're into loaning players. They're into learning players, and I'm sure they come to us and say they want one of our players, one or two of our players, and we say no. So they're the ones that will regret doing this. I guess the priority right now is, you can say, to get the most amount of money they can whenever they decide to sell Olise again. So I'm not really concerned. He or his agent must have indicated he has a release clause which prompted out offer. That's the list of my concern. Well, let's move on from that and check what another the next item we have lined up, so we can round up as soon as possible. Yeah, I do have to take my boy to school. School has started, but I think we still have a bit of a time. Let's see. Anybody else? You have anything to say about the Olise thing? I think, if not, we move on.
At the end of the day, it goes back to what I'll always say. Yes, you can be excited by the "Here We Go" by Fabrizio Romano or whatever, but the most credible source that you'll ever find pertaining to the club is the club itself and its media team. You can believe any other media outlet, but the only media outlet that is 100% credible is Chelsea's Media One, which is the Chelsea website or the Fifth Stand app. So until the players hold up the shirt, nothing is actually imminent or done. So yeah, Olise is injured right now. So at the end of the day, if he didn't even come, or if he does come, you'd have to wait longer to integrate him to the team or to give him minutes. So at the end of the day, maybe it is a blessing in disguise that maybe we could go for somebody else who will actually benefit the team from the start and from the get-go and can make an immediate impact. You never know, but it really is intense. It's very drama filled, this transfer window, and when it comes over to Chelsea. So we are a gift that keeps on giving. It's incredible, but it's good, and there's a lot of politics surrounding this situation as well. So I'm not really surprised on the outcome that's happened
Mhm.
with the extension, but it doesn't mean that it's over because there are new details added to that new contract, and if Chelsea believe that they should go in for him again, they may. So you just have to just wait and see what happens. But it's a transfer window, and it's a transfer saga that keeps on getting more entertaining. So we just have to wait and see what happens.
For me, I'm not too concerned. I think you could say we've made the more important signings this window, and I'm sure we still have Raheem Sterling. He could play the right wing position, and it's nothing. It's not the end of the world, really. Who are our potential targets beyond Olise? The only person that comes to mind now would be Kudus, who can also play on the flanks. But I think we're probably looking at the Kudus for number 10 position, in my opinion. Olise will rot in Palace like Zaha. I hope that doesn't happen to him, because there's a good player in him, and I want to see more of him. The club should be happy to move on to Plan B. The boy is complicated, the situation. Maybe let's go hijack Kudus from West Ham. Kudus has spoken to every club in world football. He's spoken to Brighton. He's spoken Arsenal. He's currently talking to Arsenal, we're told. Also talking to West Ham United, Chelsea, that's 4. Maybe there are other clubs that I don't know. Let's go ahead, Jacudis. Why don't we try and go back for Turkey, offering a player, e.g. Ugochukwu on loan. Turkey, we heard the club don't like him for reasons I do not know. Pedro Neto.
I don't think he fits Poch's profile.
Who?
Really?
Turkey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That may well be the case. Pedro Neto, Kudus, there are lots of good players out there, but the difference is that listen, he's played in the Premier League, proven, and his numbers are, you can say, are quite good. Signing Olise would have been a lesser risk than signing any other player that's playing in other leagues. If that makes sense. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping chat, and Panda must be going into Botanic Gardens. You're going into Botanic Garden. Okay, enjoy yourself. Please don't sell a hall. Okay. Omirei, his name, okay, spelled wrong there. Kudus much better than this who? Johnson? Okay, are they presently not good? They're not presently good players in Strasbourg in the advanced position that we can loan to Chelsea. No, they need to be stabilized first. They finished 15th. So if anything, they need more players than we do. Dean Olise get kicked out of our academy for behavior issues. I don't remember that. That's the first time I'm hearing that. So I do not know really, but let's see. Except if they get him to say something during the trials, tribunal. If they take us to tribunal and they're able to get him to say something that will support their accusation that we tapped him up, then we're in trouble. If not, if they want to take us there, let's go there. They've kept the player, okay, but I don't think they do that. If they do that, we're never gonna do business with them ever again, and I don't think they'd like that. Because by the way, we'll move on. This year, I think we've read that particular report. Let's see the next item we have lined up. But before we move on, let's see if there's anything Tabeho, my brother from Madiba Land, has to say with regards to the Michael Olise situation. Tabeho, you have the floor. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining this morning.
Yes, big up, guys. How are you?
Big up to you too. I appreciate you.
Yeah, this Olise thing, man, it's upsetting for what is happening because Crystal Palace have done everything into their power to keep this kid. At the end of the day, it is what it is, guys. Let's move on to the next target. It's not end of the world. We have other options. Let's go for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how I see it too.
Our big issue this
Go ahead,
season,
Roger.
So our big issue this season was Lavia and Caicedo. Now we must announce Lavia. Just announce that guy, and let's know where we are. I feel more relaxed about this Olise thing, and we'll be far more relaxed when we announce Lavia. A player of Olise's ilk, I think we can find. It's just that he had a few qualities that were attractive, but this amassing injured players is not really the way to go anyway. So it might be a blessing in disguise. Let's go for Kudus, perhaps. He's the only name that comes to my lips right now, but I'm sure there are others that can play that right wing along with Madueke. This is probably a blessing in disguise, honestly.
That honestly, it doesn't move me that much. I think we've made the most important signings at this particular window, and you just named them in Lavia and Caicedo.
It'll encourage us to keep Martin as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're good. Mohamed Kudus, Aura in Turkey. I'd go for Kudus. I heard again, if the club if they have an issue with Turkey, then yeah, not me. And Kudus is the more physical of the two players. I keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join in. And the silver, just talking to somebody there. Let's see. I think Chelsea and that's Oluwafemi Henry says, I think Chelsea are looking for a new number 10 just because of Nkunku's injury. Why not just believe in the squad and have a kid groomed? I think Sanchez is bought to play, so let him play. But Sanchez isn't a 10. Nkunku actually isn't a 10. It's just that, yeah, Nkunku has attributes you could say that will enable him fulfill the 10 role effectively. That's his stat. And if and he himself has said that he sees himself as a number 9. It's okay. We have Sterling to solve all our problems. Yeah, and you have to, you have to say it that way. I can see us selling James and Sterling next window also due to their respective wages. Wow, Bill, you think so? But that's by the way. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here so we can round off as soon as possible. The Chelsea have decided against a move to sign a top-level goalkeeper and will instead target a young supporting option after backing Robert Sanchez, who was originally signed to compete with Kepa Arrizabalaga. I think I'm all for us not being too much in a rush going for a new goalkeeper. I don't know if anybody else on the panel want to say anything to that. You have the floor. Otherwise, should I move on?
I think my only problem with that statement is one word, the word young supporting option. I think if you're going to choose Sanchez as your number 1, then I believe that you should have a senior, a veteran, if you will, for a safety net. Someone that's seen it all before. May not be at the pinnacle of their career, but someone that has seen it all, knows what to do, knows how to, shall we say, support a leading keeper, reinforce it, etc. I don't agree with having a young backup. I think that's counterproductive. I really do.
And if we're going to do that, why didn't we keep Slonina? Did I do a tap in there?
Sorry, Coach.
Did I do a tap in there? If we're going to do that, why didn't we keep Slonina?
Exactly.
Was that a tap in?
We got Lucas.
Yeah, Bobby. Let's let. Go ahead, Roger. I asked you a question, Roger.
Yeah, to a certain extent, like even Bergstrom, he's not going to, shall we say, learn as much or advance and improve himself as an individual in goalkeeping skills, etc. You can only learn by playing at this position. And you use Bergstrom. Now, don't get me wrong. If we use him, let's say, as the development squad keeper, I use him as an example, and he plays every week. I know it's a different level, but if he's able to do that and then also be a backup for Chelsea, then okay, you could work with that perhaps potentially. It's still a gamble, but I'm telling you, it's not the norm.
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. You were saying something. Okay.
I was agreeing. I was just saying that we have young goalkeepers anyway. So
yeah.
Unless it's a young.
Did you see my concern?
Yeah, slightly. There are some young keepers that are experienced as well. I
True,
don't quite
but
know who they are. But
I'm talking about substantial experience.
Yeah, as a backup, it's good to have somebody like Kasper Schmeichel. That's who I thought of. If his wages aren't too bad, or Ben Foster. I think
Foster would be. Yes,
they will be really good to have. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but it's
no,
not
I agree.
an area that I feel too panicked about either.
But to me, I would have. This is just my opinion. To me, if we have certain, how shall I put this, aspirations, if we have certain goals we wish to compete with, then I believe it truly does behoove us to get an elite keeper. And I don't believe Sanchez. Listen, having said that, I need to pass judgment after 5-10 weeks of seeing him. I'll be honest with you. He may excel and become everything that we hope him to be. So it is somewhat premature. I concede that of me to say that. But if I believe that is indeed not the case, then Listen, as I said, he played less than one game and he made a very dodgy pass that nearly cost us conceding a goal and losing the game. And you can't say that about a certain predecessor that was so consistent to have the ball constantly. And this is what I'm saying. You take it for granted until you don't have that ability.
Right.
Once it starts to come and bite you in the gluteus maximus and we start dropping points, and then you're going to ask yourself.
Thank you for that picture, even though you defined it differently. I'm not sure
Why,
we really
Roger,
need
why?
one more attacking player according to BRZ. And this is maybe a 9, but not a 10 or a winger. I think we do need a traditional 10. Wonder if McAllister put a release clause in contract in his Liverpool contract. Probably did, because he's seen the importance. He was able to leave Brighton when he did, because he had the release clause on his then contract. So yeah, the new one most likely. That's just my opinion. Turkey, Vega, Johnson, Bowen. There are many of there that Chelsea can get. Roger, big fan of the star of Sterling. Yep, he loves it. Sterling so much. I want to plead with Chelsea's honor. Chelsea honor. Okay, he should think twice of the type of players he let go before he regrets. Chelsea. I think you mean Chelsea owner. Here's the thing: if the player wants to leave, that's what we're learning. For me, I wouldn't push for a player that wants to leave to stay. Why don't we just keep Carney? He played well versus Liverpool and in preseason. Did you hear he's leaving? I'm asking you. You let me know. Superfine, enjoy yourself. Buxton has had a season as a number 1 in a team who was about to get promoted. What team? Okay, he was on loan. Okay, Alex, thank you for that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all. We have Bettinelli, no worries. Yeah, that's your way of joking. Constantine Dante. Broxham is when he's got experience as a main keeper for Petersborough. Okay, that was where he was alone. Why not give him a chance? Chances are the club wants to give him a chance, but we don't know yet. Oluwafemi Henry says, let's say Chelsea sign a new number 10. Can you please describe the first 11 if all the players are fit? I don't know if I can show you the banner. We already have a banner to do a show. Yeah, very soon we'll do a show where we pick our strongest 11. So, but we can't do that right now. We have items to get as soon as possible because I have to take my boy to school. I never deleted those messages. Okay, tell them you're talking to somebody there. People having good conversation there. I like that. And that we have a question, two tabs, one for the chat, one for if you have a question, you drop it there, then I will see it easily there. It's because it seems I've seen him play. Okay, because you've seen him play, and he's got the qualities to be a great goalkeeper. I think Bobby knows that. I think some of us have seen the little we've seen. I think we can trust him, give him a chance. But there's a downside to it. If it's not going to be starting, then him staying will be detrimental to his development. And as a young goalkeeper, you need to be playing. Had a dream last night. Portugal pay Sterling. We play him in a false 9 position. Chances are he does that. And maybe that's where we get the best out of him. Let's talk about the next item we have lined up here, and let's go for it. This shows we need to go, you can say, take a cut. How do I say it? Send Benfica a gift. This says Enzo Fernandez has made more accurate long balls, 143 in total than any other outfield player in the Premier League 2023. He has that in him, and wait until he's paired with a more you can say defensively solid player, where he has where he'd be given the independence to be more adventurous on the pitch. You see the best of him. I think we saw a bit of that against Liverpool. He was more adventurous. He was getting into the box, and he can actually get you goals. Because he can exploit spaces effectively. He has that intelligence. And we move on from that. Let's see what else we have. Again, any of the panelists has anything to say with any of the items we're going through, please feel free to do that. And this says breaking news: Chelsea have agreed a deal to sell. Okay, we've read that. I'm going to move on to that one. And this says Moises Caicedo has been nominated for the 2023 PFA Young Player of the Year. Here's the thing, why I like this. We've heard that he emerged as Brighton's best player for last season. And I was thinking they just did that because they want us to feel like we're getting the best player in the world. But this confirms really, this you can say I've found closure. I'm not going to be thinking, did they do that just to get more money from us? But this confirms the fact that, the guy is really good. That's not to say that I've been doubting how good he is, but just says this puts to bed my argument that maybe, they you can say they nominated him as Brighton's best player because they want to get as much money as they can from us. But anybody on the panel want to add anything to that, or should we move on?
I just want to say one thing briefly. It's about Hall. Don't you find that £28 million suspiciously low?
For some reason, you could say that. I think he.
Well, for 6 years on the contract.
Sense, yeah.
We always talk about, well, he's only got 1 year left on the contract.
Except if the contract is, and maybe he hasn't signed it. Did we see that on the club's website?
Yeah, I believe he signed the next 6 year, 6+1.
Was that on the club's website?
I can't recall, Coach, but I believe, Coach, I believe it's been widely reported by everyone and their mother that he signed a 6+1 or a 5+1.
But was it on the website? That's what I'm asking. If it hasn't been announced, I'm not sure. Maybe there's a chance he hasn't put pen to paper. Really, I just don't know because it's everywhere.
Sure. All I'm saying is if he does have a 6+1, then
he shouldn't go for that cheap.
I think that's quite insultingly low.
It makes sense. That's why I'm saying maybe he didn't really sign it. He hasn't signed it because I did see a report. Why didn't I read it? I don't know because somebody says Todd Bowley to shred Lewis Hall's new contract and sell him for this amount. I saw that usually web surfers, and I'm one to be honest. Sometimes can be lazy. You just go with the title. I don't know why I didn't read it to have full context what's being talked about there. So, Roger, you make a good point now. Now, your point has got me thinking now, maybe he hasn't signed a new contract. I just don't know what to make of it.
I don't know.
Anybody else on the panel here? Because Roger is making good sense. It sounds suspiciously
It does sound
low.
rather low, but I would wait for the tier ones to say something. There's a lot of spite at Chelsea at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of disinformation to the negative being pushed out there. That doesn't mean to say that this may not be true, but I'm very hesitant to accept anything that's not coming from the tier ones. For example, this Crystal Palace thing, I personally believe a lot of this was moved by our dear friends and our dear friends that are in the media. They encouraged Crystal Palace to take this position. And that's fine, that's fine. I don't think that really hurts us that much.
No, it doesn't hurt us at all.
No, but that's another example of their little vindictive games. And, all this talk of taking to tribunals. Okay, go to a tribunal, see what that gets you. If you're a sensible club, you wouldn't be doing that because you will lose in the end in terms of financial cooperation. So I'm not sure about that one. Let's wait for the tier ones. If it is, then it is what it is. Maybe he didn't sign the contract as coach is saying, but the tier ones did come out that he signed a 6+1. So
yeah,
who knows?
But nothing was announced on the club's website. Or did I not see it?
But they don't generally do that anyway, do they?
It was announced by them, though. Chelsea did announce
by the club.
I think Chelsea did. Yeah.
They did.
So then, okay. So let me ask you a question. If indeed that contract is a 6+1, which I recall, then don't you believe, based on the length, the tenure, the term of that contract, don't you? Yes, I understand he's a fetus. He's 18 years of age and has just literally a handful of minutes for the first team. But based on the contract length, don't you find that suspiciously low? Based
It
on
is,
it
honestly.
is
That's why I
low,
said,
but
not, Roger, I'm going to be thinking about this for days, and I'm going to come with you with lots of questions because
Coach,
now, yeah, you've got me thinking. It's low because he's a talent, and I'm sure the club,
and this is what we
they know
historically
how
have
good he
done.
is.
Coach and Roger, it is low, but what that tells me is that he wants the move,
Yeah.
and Chelsea perhaps
Oh,
want the money. So 6+1 is just the amortization rate
No, I
because
understand, but
we can amortize for 6 years.
yeah,
Um,
but the thing when you're negotiating a price, conversely, when you only have 1 year left on a contract, this depreciates the value of a player for buying him. So conversely, the longer term, the term does have an impact on the purchase price, Bobby.
It does, absolutely. We learnt that with Caicedo. But Caicedo
Yeah,
was a
true.
very, very coveted asset,
No, of course,
whereas
demand and
Lewis
supply.
Hall is regarded as a disposable asset. That's the difference. And
Yeah, and to a certain extent, isn't that the crux of the matter, though?
how?
Because I don't view him as a disposable asset.
Yeah, but that's you, the club. I understand
Right,
Mr. Barley was the one that actually sanctioned this.
right. But do you understand my interpretation here?
Well, we're fans, right? They have
Yeah, right.
assets and they have books to balance, and
Yeah,
they
of
have
course.
a
No,
choice to make.
Bobby, I totally agree and understand that conceptually. I really do. I get it. And listen, they're under the cosh, so to speak, where they have obligations where they must balance these books because to avoid future ramifications. I get that. I truly do. Having said that, though, I find this, and it's not just him. It's historically, even the previous administration, where we seem to sell these players from the academy, and I believe I wouldn't say bargain basement prices, but you get my gist, as opposed to someone of equal talent that goes for more, and that's my
Can I
observation.
can
but
I
again,
answer that,
I think
Coach?
it
Can I
depends on
answer
the
that?
player in question. And Hall hasn't played that much. You
No, I
can't
agree.
say,
I agree.
Can I
yeah,
answer that
even
if
though
I
he's a
may?
talent, there's no games to say, yeah, he's this good, that good. No, you can't. That alone won't suffice us. That won't suffice this time because he hasn't played that much. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that we can,
one
yeah.
thing you have to. Chelsea's not a selling club, and although we have a lot of sellable assets, we tend to hold on to our assets until we need to sell them. And to be fair to the previous regime, that was why we had that sort of extensive loan program, because
Yeah.
System.
we
Mhm.
held on to our assets to the bitter end. And it's like, we don't sell them unless we absolutely have to. Now, a lot has changed. The daggers are out drawn for Chelsea to try and hit us financially because our rivals have convinced the authorities and the media that our financial power is the source of our strength, which to some extent is true because we're capable of buying anything and everything. So they are out to hurt us that way. And so we've got to a point where, because of the new rules they've created with financial fair play, we have to sell quickly or bring money in quickly. Now we have an expansive project we're working on, and some of the ways we can bring money in quickly is by selling our academy graduates. And
Mhm.
to be fair, we haven't sold them willy-nilly. We've been very hesitant. We sold Mason Mount because he had a year left. He wanted to go and he wanted more money in terms of his income. And I thought that was a little bit unreasonable. And we took the right path and we sold him for a
And,
considerable sum, pure profit.
and to be fair, a far greater amount than I anticipated. I agree.
Yeah. So, and when you think back, well, who else from the academy? There's Mount. That's about it, really. Havertz wasn't from the academy. Chalobah we haven't sold yet.
Do you think we
Um,
will?
I think we will
Yeah,
eventually. I think we
yeah.
will. Brozier we haven't sold,
I don't
and
believe we will.
Martson we're very reluctant to sell these guys now. Hall, I don't think we wanted to.
You have to mention Gallagher too. For 40 million
Yeah,
plus, we refuse to sell.
exactly. We refused the 40 million. So Hall we're in a political situation. We have two more experienced left-sided players who are on big money and difficult to offload. And one, to be fair, we shouldn't be offloading in the name of Chilwell. I think Chilwell is a necessary asset for us. So we're really only talking about Cucurella. We can't easily get rid of Cucurella because we only got him last season. Then we've got another youthful asset from the academy, Ian Martson, who we're trying to give an opportunity in the first team. So I wouldn't really hurt or attack the ownership so much if they
No,
find.
I don't mean to attack. I'm just.
Roger, you attacked
No, I
them.
don't
You
mean.
attacked
I'm not
them.
saying that.
Shut up, coach.
Maybe those are the wrong words. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying you're doing that. I'm just talking more or less
No, Roger never
out there.
did. He never did.
So I think I think what's coach say. I think
Coach has
if we
been
have
naughty.
to be just to get him out and to get the books up and to
Yeah, no, I get it.
change. Yeah, but then you don't know the detail. Is there
We
a
don't really
sell-on
know.
clause?
Yeah, we don't know.
Is there a
But
sell-on clause? I'm pretty sure if we're selling on the cheap, we have a sell-on clause, just like we did with Livramento,
Right.
or a buyback clause. There must be something
Or
else.
both, please.
Well, I don't know if you can do both. I've never heard of both, to be honest. If you can, happy days. But I've never heard of a
Not against
sell-on
the
and
law,
a buy.
surely not.
I don't
all
know.
right, let me catch up. We'll move on. I have to take my boy to school as soon as possible. Jerry Z isn't ready yet, and he actually, even when you send him link, it doesn't come onto the panel. So 30 million for Hall, but I can assure you everything will be fine soon. My in-laws will be back, and it will make everything easier for me. 30 million for Hall. Take it. Okay. Olise cancelled. Who is going to play for us? We will find players. We have. It's not like we just don't have numbers in that department. Reece James is injured again. Chelsea must sell him. Really, a lot of people will start calling for that. No Hall is a diamond that reflects good already. Cannot sell him. Better loan him. But he wants to leave. Rumors are that the club wanted him to just go out on loan, but he wants to leave on a permanent. And there's more to that story. You have to do a research. He has Newcastle United connections and all that. Let's see what else we have here. Do you know if we would go after Felix if he terminated his contract with Atletico Madrid? And we're hearing that it's come to that. I don't think we will. Maybe we will. I don't know. There's no way to tell. Because there won't be shortage of clubs willing to take him. And he said openly that he wants to join Barcelona. I'm sure Barcelona would jump at that as a free agent. I'm sure they will. I don't really rate Hall. He has done nothing special and doesn't really have a position. Yeah, because there's no enough sample size. That may well be the reason why the price is that low. Hall signed for 6+ years, but I don't think he signed a drastically large salary. The club are desperate for pure profit. Carbon will be used for these papers. Strasbourg is more of the focus for them. Wow, some argument right there. Let's see what else we have here. Someone said after signing a new contract, Olise, a release clause will be 75 million pounds. Yeah, good luck to them. 30 million. So now they're gonna make him another Zaha the way I see it, because that's just doubled everything. Maybe they doubled his salary too. 30 million isn't low at all. Lewis Hall only played 10 games for us, and not too many of them. You can say, 10 isn't too many to say. Yeah,
No,
based
I
on his
know,
performance. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm just talking now. The contract was never official, and Lewis Hall is only worth 10 million. Only worth 10 million. Stop arguing with yourselves. He's settling the fight for us. Roger, his contract would change when he signs with Newcastle. Newcastle FC. And anyway, it doesn't matter. And why don't we keep a buyback clause with Newcastle? I'm not sure. We don't know the details of the contracts he will sign with them. Why are fans losing their minds over Lewis Hall? A good question there. I honestly do not know. 30 million is a premium for Hall. In your opinion, you got to take a pure profit on Hall, no brainer. I think that's what the owners would do. It's like fans think he's the next KDB. You never know. Coach, I saw a report saying Chelsea still has Hazard's money to spend. So we do have money. Clubs are just jealous and know and no financial power. Yep, you could argue that. With James' injury, I think we should sell Chalobah. Okay, with James's injury, you think we shouldn't sell Chalobah? Okay, he can be a cover for Malo Gusto. I think that's a good argument. Buxton needs to be loaned to have a playing time. I think I agree with you. Let's see what else we have here. And Panda, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. With James's injury, I think we shouldn't sell Chalobah. He can be cover up for Malo Gusto. Jersey a bit shy, maybe. Coach, all these transfer news are small screens, except expect a big name signing up before the window shuts. Let's see what else we have here. Chelsea discussed a swap deal with Johnson and Chalobah last week. Wow, Chalobah is set to reject and move to Crystal Palace. I would, because there are better clubs looking at me if that's in fact the case. We had a buyback clause for which one? Even if James is truly injured, Chalobah still needs to be sold. If you know Disasi and Caicedo very well, they have played on numerous occasions in that role for their previous club. I wouldn't want Disasi to play there. If you're going to play on the flanks, your intelligence will not suffice. I think you need more.
What is James' injury?
Sorry? Hamstring.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't
hamstring.
know?
Yeah, but they say, Olise didn't join us. They say he will be scanned for that to see the extent. We had a buyback clause for Livramonto, a sell-on clause of 40%. Wow, that's greedy, really.
Did we actually have a buyback for Livramento?
Yeah, but now I think that's dead because it's moved on.
So we
from
have
the club.
both then. We had the buyback and the sell-on.
Yeah.
So, Roger, that's the answer to your question. We
Yeah,
didn't do that before.
So my point is that's greedy, and
All it is are multiple clauses. You can have as many clauses as you like in a contract, as long as they're legal. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious.
So
this being, but yeah, I don't see why it's not. It should be generic for all our contracts. We should be doing that for players, in my opinion.
So we made a lot of money from there because he sold because he was sold for 35 million plus. Wow. Okay. Let's see what next week. When this one says Chelsea and Southampton are now set to complete and sign all documents for the Romeo Lavia deal. Medical completed yesterday, so boom, that one will happen. Let's say Chelsea keep being busy, and it's true that Crystal Palace are not entirely happy. I think this one we should just throw this one in the bin because it's not happening again. This says Hakim Ziyech has now completed all his medical tests at Galatasaray and passed. There were conflicting. There are conflicting reports out there. The Dutch outlets are saying he failed, but British outlets are saying he passed. So
who are we to believe?
Sorry,
who are we to believe? What have the club said?
I think the Turkish outlets are saying he passed it. So right now you can say we're not too sure until we hear that he's left or
until Chelsea say he's gone.
Galatasaray report that they've signed him. Yeah. Ty, were you saying something?
No, it was me, Coach. I said we believe it when Chelsea say he's gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, since they've decided to confuse us. Southampton signed him for 5 million, so they didn't hesitate to accept buyback. Oh, now I see. Okay, yeah, and sell on, but that's a lot to do. Wow. It is true that is it true that CFC is considering giving Hazard a 1-year deal?
5 million, isn't it?
Sorry,
I said 28 million. That's the new 5 million.
Yeah,
it's cheap these days, so they will accept clauses.
Yeah, I didn't say anything saying we want to give him a 1-year deal, but if we do it, I'll take it. Really, he will make a difference. He will feel at home. Even the you can say for the mood alone, that will you can say the feel good factor will go a long way. Romeo Lavia to Chelsea, official announcement expected today. That may well be the case, but I want to see that happen. Hazard 1-year deal. Let me go back to that one because somebody said it in the chat. I wouldn't say no. But just quickly, Bobby, would you say no to that? Hazard 1 year, just play one more year for us, one last dance. I'd call it.
Nope.
You said no? Okay.
No, that was me.
Yeah, I know you said no. Yeah, I'm waiting for Bobby.
It's tempting, 1 year. Hazard, how fit is he?
Exactly.
You
That's the
know,
question.
one thing I don't want to see is for him to come and humiliate himself. Shevchenko kind of did that, but he never was with us in the first place. But he came and he was embarrassed. He scored some excellent goals at times, but the way he was beaten by defenders and outpaced, it was embarrassing. And I don't want to see that for Hazard. Will he be outpaced? Well, we saw how his swan song in the World Cup turned out, and I just wouldn't want to see that for him.
Yeah.
So I would say no at this point. There's a
I wouldn't
reason he
mind
retired.
signing him, but with the conditions, he knows that he's not going to be starting every game. It's more like a trial. Yeah, if he does well, we can give him another year if he's fit enough. If
You
he's
mean
not
like we
able-
did with Thiago Silva?
Yeah, something like that. But there's a huge risk there. Do I think if he fails, embarrasses himself, he ruins his Chelsea legacy? I'll say no. It doesn't change anything. If we see it, then we should look at Frank Lampard's second stint at Chelsea the same way. That the fact, he lost how many games and how many has ruined his Chelsea legacy, or the fact he joined Man City. No, that's just my opinion. I wouldn't mind that, honestly. Him coming as a leader, not necessarily because he's
What's his
prime
physical
or that.
condition, Coach?
Sorry?
What's his physical condition like now? Is he overweight? Is he underweight? What is he in his prime? What's he like physically now?
I think because again, I read a report saying that he still wants to play at a very high level, so he must be keeping fit. Just based on that report, I haven't seen him. The last time we met in a bar, he didn't drink.
Funny, very funny.
No, but you get my point. I'm just kidding anyway. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's a truth to that. Hazard 1 year deal is a good idea after missing out on Olise. For nostalgia's sake, yeah, maybe. In my opinion, Turkey must have some great doctors. He doesn't believe he passed it. Coach, I would take Hazard for a year. I would too, honestly. Hazard will do his hamstring after one game. Really. Hazard on a 1 year deal is not a bad idea. It's risky, but it won't diminish his legacy. It will not, no matter what happens. Roger, he looks overweight from the picture. There you go, Roger. You have the answer to your question. The Berichi Eze will be a great option, which means you're going to Palace again. He's even more suited for the 10 role than Olise, who is a winger, and his release clause is cheaper at 25 million. And Palace are considering taking us to a tribunal, and you want us to go try sign a Berichi Eze. Wow. But shouldn't Poch's GA contest get on fit players fit? Yeah, exactly. That's another argument, because he will drill fitness into you. Again, as if Hazard will come on low wages and no buggers and in the clause. I don't think he'll come, but that's, by the way, Roger. It doesn't look like Ty. Are you there? Ty isn't here actually. It's just Roger, I, and Bobby. Roger, if you're there, your thoughts on everything we've spoken about, so that
First of all, I don't think Poch would either want him. Also, I think he's not his profile of player. He doesn't fit into the project, period. Listen. I'm sad to see Hall go. I not because I'm sentimental. I just believe that his ceiling is very high. His potential is, I think, much higher than people realize. But let's see. One doesn't know. As for Olise, not bothered about it as much. I am somewhat. How should I put it? I don't like the fact that we're not going after an elite goalkeeper. That's what really gets me. That should be a priority in addition to getting rid of certain players off the wage bill that we all know about.
Yep, thank you so much for that, Bobby. Your thoughts on everything we've talked about, so we can call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, Pochettino wants a trimmed squad. I can understand it largely. However, I'm slightly cautious of it. I
Here, here.
think until he has proved himself and wins trophies and earns that extended contract, it's a funny thing to say about an elite sort of manager, but he does need to do that. I would be very hesitant to give him everything he wants, especially when it comes to the size of the squad. Um, but we are sending people out on loan. That's true. Lewis Hall, I think, is almost inevitable, sadly. But I see the reason behind that. And that right side is becoming rather weak. We've got the somewhat injury-prone Noni Madueke there. We don't really have anything more than Gusto on the right, and you know Gusto has had an injury himself. We've got the
All
threat of
hamstring issues, Bobby.
we've had the threat of Trevor Chalobah being sold. So clearly, we do need to buy. The Olise foolishness is really something that this is the one time I think the club can do with walking away.
Yep.
Focusing on, there's no question of selling Trevor to Palace. Just ignore them now. Let them do whatever they want. And I think they should, from what I've heard, if Kudus is still kicking his heels and is available, why not go for him? I'm not quite sure what the hesitation was, but if the hesitation was a Olise, well, that's been removed now. So they should try and go for him.
Yeah, good point, actually. That was a stumbling block, wasn't it?
Yep.
Seemed that way. Unless Ajax, who are saying that they want to renegotiate the price, are also going to start asking for 75 million. That's going to be funny. But with the departure of Ziyech, and hopefully we need to sort out the departure of
Woolly Mammoth.
Cho as well.
Yeah.
Let him go. 5 million, let him go. It's not really. I don't see the value in holding.
What's the hold up?
I think it's money, isn't it? We want a bit more. To my understanding, I don't know what else. And of course, the woolly mammoth. We need to get rid of them. And clearly, anything anybody does now, unless you go for a complete unknown, like Liverpool did with that Leverkusen old timer, it's all going to be within the 80s, 70s, 80s, 100s. That's the new going rate now. You can see it. You can see what's going on. And that's all created by the inflated English market. And especially with Chelsea, the media, encouraged by the English media, will continue trying to target us because their aim is to weaken us for their preferred teams. So we need to be smart about this. I'm still very keen on this Davide Washington. I'm interested in seeing if he stays or if he goes on loan.
Yeah, thank you so much. With that, we've come to the natural end of the show. I want to say thank you to Bobby and Roger Ty, who was on the panel, and Tabeho, who was also on the panel. I want to say thank you to Abdullahi Jaffa. I appreciate you. And you was just an opportunity because of release class. Yeah, I think anything work. But more importantly, go check out Mitchell Boy's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you Constantine Dante. Much love to you and the Bluetooth game who was here in the chat. Chelsea Blue, I appreciate you. Panda, I appreciate you. And Briani Yahayu, I appreciate you, aka 343 Dilemma. Much love to you. And Alo Silva, Vic, all of you, a lot of people miss Mr. Troublemaker. If I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all and cheers.
Thanks, gentlemen.